Hello. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of a different video today because in the previous video I was looking at the Nomad, and sadly I still haven't received parts for the Nomad. Um, but I do have a couple of other builds coming up for people over Christmas and whatnot, and all of the parts have arrived for one of these builds. So today we are going to be building a Game Boy. This is our Game Boy. It's a sorry looking Game Boy Color. Actually, this Game Boy was just £30 from Japan. It's a Japanese model. So we're going to use this one. Luckily, there's no region stuff on Game Boys, so we should just happily be able to use that with no problems at all. I did have a test cart around here somewhere. I do. I've got Tetris, so I haven't actually tested this since it came over. So yeah, £30 from Japan. It's not a bad one actually. It's quite nice. But like I say, haven't tested it. Don't know whether it works or not. So we might end up doing some repairs to it before we actually get to use it. So we're going to just throw Tetris DX in it, turn it on. Oh, nice. Works nicely. We've got any volume? No audio? But that's okay. No audio on it. So we might have to fix the audio. We'll take it apart, we'll have a look. We're putting an amp in it anyway, so we're going to be coming off the audio circuit. So we'll see how that works and what we end up with. Might just be a bad speaker. I do have new speakers, or a new speaker for it, if I need it. There is one right here. So, okay. So I think well, I guess the first thing to do is have a look into it. So we're gonna get our donor board out, and we will do this just by getting into these now. Hopefully the audio quality and hopefully the video quality are a little better on this one. And I get less of those bings, so I need to work out what app's throwing those up and kill notifications to stop that happening. But such is life. I will sort it at some point. But yeah, I still haven't got the like the focus right with the light. I don't know. I keep moving different lights around in the hope that things will actually focus. But yeah, we'll see where we end up. Hopefully this shouldn't be such a long build. Game Boys generally take, I don't know, I guess it's probably 30 or 40 minutes. Don't know. We will find out during this video. It might be a two-parter because I might have to finish it tomorrow. But we shall see. Probably go for, I don't know, half an hour or so. 3/4 of an hour. Don't know. So we're going to keep the old shell parts. Give them a clean up. Might end up getting rid of those. We'll keep the screws because we don't know what screws the new one comes with. And we've got some screwdriver. But we do know that the old screen works nicely. So that's always a bonus. And I think one thing we're definitely going to do in a moment is, I doubt that the issue with the amp is or the audio is the speaker. I do have some caps to recap these if we need to. But I mean, the board overall looks really clean. I do find that the ones you get from Japan do generally, unless they're real junk items, people look after their stuff over there, man. Like, you get nice donors to work with. Like, for £30, you just can't find a Game Boy board on eBay or a Game Boy actually worth working on for the sort of money you can out in Japan, especially recently where they had a bit of a dip in their currency. That was good for us. Right, let's have a little. I think first thing to do here is we're just going to measure the resistance across this. Mega ohms. I mean, maybe it is the speaker. Shouldn't have mega ohms across it. I think they're like meant to be 8 ohms. It's either 4 or 8. But yeah, we've got mega ohms across the speaker, so that's handy. So we'll take that off. Kilo ohms. Yeah, pretty sure we're not meant to have that. So I think the first thing we do is let's just unsolder the speaker and solder a new one on real quick, and we'll test it with the speaker off the circuit. So let's check that first. This should be the right size speaker for all of this. We will see. Yeah, it looks good. I am going to work out how to turn the notifications off over here. Do not disturb. There we go. Boom. There we go. Right, happy days. I should have done that before coming in. But anyway, let's get that out of the way. Get the iron out real quick. And let's just pop these off. Like so. And we can measure these two now. So let's plug all of this in. Go across this one. 8 ohms. And across this one. Yeah, nothing. Nothing. Okay, so in theory, then when I put this on, we're going to be good. Let's just check what this circuit is at the moment. Cool, yeah, so it was open. This speaker is open. So there we go. It's likely that the speaker has indeed caused the issue. I mean, should we solder it up? Just check it. Let's just pop this on here for a second. I won't use any flux or anything. We'll go back and we'll sort that all out in a minute. We'll just put this cable onto this speaker for now. Might have to use some flux, we'll find out. But we're good. But yeah, if we want nice shiny clean joints, then we'll come back with some flux, but that's just for testing. We'll pop it on there. Cool. And let's just pop it back in its case for a moment. Pop a speaker in there. Gonna have to pad out the back of that speaker somehow, because those speakers are slightly different. But anyway, we'll worry about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So for now, we're just going to pop that in. We're going to pop the ribbon cable back in for the screen. Sweet. I'm going to pop the back on. And the speaker cable's getting in the way. So let's bend that out of the way. Excellent. And then where's my test game? Where did I put Tetris? There it is. Put Tetris in there. Couple of batteries. Got your Amazon rechargeables. Be rude not to. Although voltage on these rechargeables is always junk. And let's see if we get some noise out of it. Need a little screwdriver. We do. There we go, got some noise. Don't know if you can hear that or not, but it is quite quiet. All Game Boy colours are quiet though, it's just, they're the quietest Game Boy of any Game Boy. So, but yeah, that original speaker is junk. So we can safely say that that was the sound issue, and that's that resolved. So, okay, let's pop this over here and grab this out. So first things first, what are we going to do to our lovely board here? I think generally where I always start is I start by, see this one, because everything works, I'm not even going to recap it. I don't think it needs it. The caps look in great condition. There's no leaking. Game Boy, generally speaking, they don't have that problem. So yeah, especially the colours. I don't rarely get issues with the colours, what need caps and stuff sorting. So I think the first place to start is with the with this mod here. Now, bear with me 1 second because I just need to. Oh, jump across here. I'll get the prices of each of these mods as I'm doing it. And so, right, batteries about 20 quid. It's always handy. And excellent. Right, so what we want to do with these is, this is just to complement the original DC converter. And because this is an orange Game Boy, all of these little horrible wires that come with everything, we're not using them. We are going to take strands of orange, and we're going to be using some wrapping wire in orange for this build. Got to keep it legit, right? So there we go, some orange wire. Now, first thing is getting this nicely sat. So this little DC board, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I will also try and bring my scope over what we're actually doing. Now, if I have my scope down too much with too much brightness, it's going to affect the recording somewhat, or a lot. But let's see if we can do that. Let's grab the scope and give you an idea of what I'm doing here. So this is the funny playing board we're using. Fits real nice actually. And you just got to connect it 3 places to the DC board around the back. So we're going to get some solder, and we got our iron over there, which is already hot. We're going to need some flux. So let's grab some flux. Going to use this Kimbo. Pretty good. Not a bad flux anyway. Not had any major issues with it, but I use that and the Amtech stuff. That's pretty good as well. And we're just going to get a load of flux here, here, and here. I'm using a screwdriver to push it because I've lost the plunger. It's somewhere in and amongst a drawer of like 10 million things. So, okie dokie. Next up, we are just going to build this baby up. So, we want to do this bottom joint first. So, we're just going to get that sitting nicely. There we go. And then we're going to do this one. Again, get in on it, get it nicely flowing. And that joint is looking lovely. Right, both of those joints are looking great. And then we're coming round to this joint over here. And I'm just getting my iron across the entire joint, across everything I want to connect. And again, that joint is looking great. So I'll clean it off. I did get a new bottle of IPA today because we're running on fragments of the old stuff, but still enough to finish this off. I think most probably. We'll see. Okay, so let's clean up the DC board, and you can see what I've done to it. And somewhere around here, I'll have to go grab it. Be a second. There we go. Just clear this up. So yeah, we've got this all connected up. The pins that come up here are all soldered to these joints at the edge, and that's looking pretty good. So that's our DC converter. Next up, we've got to take off this fuse F1 because we're going to run wires from F1 across over to here. So that's kind of what we're doing next, and always fun. So we'll get onto that in just a moment. Before we do, let's just tin up a couple of points there. So we're going to tin up the in and out points. So these two here, and just give them a nice little tin, and a nice little tin here. Looks good. And then, yeah, then we want to remove fuse F1, so we're going to get in there. Now, I'm not sure these will do. Tweezers, just going to get my tweezers in there, just going to lift one side, like that. Push it down, now it's cooled a bit, and then just going to push it off with the other side. Oh, I didn't even show you, it wasn't even in camera, or it wasn't in my scope at least. Never mind, you get the idea. And then, add a bit of solder to those points, like that. Tell you what we can quickly do as well. We'll quickly just clean up the board. Looks good. Nice. And then what we're going to do is I could just move the scope around, but I'm being lazy. We are going to tie this back part of the fuse to out and vice versa. So let's run a few little wires, shall we? First wire is going from here over to here. So we're going to want it about yay big. And let's just nick a bit off the edge of that. Keep meaning to get some wire strippers, but you know, maybe one day we will. Maybe. If we're feeling it. Cool. So that should do it. And then we are going to come in with a bit more flux here, here. Well, we're going to have to do all of these points, so might as well make them nice while we're at it. And with our iron, we're coming from this one back here. Now, I don't use a scope or anything, so the scope is just for you guys at this point. I'm not using a scope for any of these connections here. It's not really necessary on this size board. So I'm going to come in like that. And then I guess we want to go to this out point. So I think we're going to go down and to it like that. That looks good. So we want to leave as little as that cable extending as we can. So that looks nice. Just get that cable routed nicely. So that's our first set. And now we want to go from this to the in. And that is our next mission. So we are going to grab, again, we're going with the orange cable. Orange build, orange cable. I'll try and keep it in the camera this time. Here we go. So we're going to come off of it at the top and go on like this. So let's make it a bit shorter than that. And let's pull. There we go. Perfect. So I want to come just at a slight angle off of this one, I think. Go out a little more. That's looking good. Come around here. I want to go fairly close. In fact, do I want to do that? Yeah, I quite like that. But we are going to come back a little bit here for that wire routing. Oh. Oh, bear with me a second. Yeah, so apart from burning a wire a little down here, this is our wire routing. It looks good. Nice soldering. Everything there is a-okay. Just going to leave those wires routed like that. Kind of like it. And yeah, I'm just cleaning up around here. Cool. So that's basically the guts of our power mod. Now we should be able to plug a battery in if we can find the battery. So what we got? We've got a funny playing 1800 milliamp hours. Should be plenty. Pop that in there. Like so. And we should be able to turn it on. Okay, not yet. So to remedy that, we're going to plug the power in, I think, because these tend to do this. They're basically completely dead, or it doesn't activate the board. Not sure, but we'll find out. If we just plug this fella into this fella, we get power to the chip, so that's right. And then if we turn this baby on, we get a red light and we get a bing. Excellent. So that's that. We're not going to charge this now. We're just testing that our power mod is working, which it is. So I think for the next little bit, I'm still going to stick to this overhead cam type view that we've got at the moment, and we'll finish up the soldering, at least for the amp. So the amp sort of sits, it's like down here like this, and it fits on, oh my god, why can't I remember? Let's go and have a look before we make a fool of ourselves. I've done a couple of these before, but yeah, let's go and see what where it hooks up, but yeah, it definitely hooks up on the, it might be more in the middle. I think it's in the middle. I think it's like kind of, I want to say here, goes up the middle and then hooks onto those points there. That looks the most likely of all. And I think actually I could just do that. But first things first, I think we should tin up all those points up there. So we want SW point down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and show you the points as I go. So this is the SW point that we want to connect to, just here. And we're just going to lay, some solder down in that point. And this should help a little later. So let's get really in there and lay some solder in it. There we go. So that's that one. And then let's get that ribbon cable wherever I put it. See, that's the thing when I'm working. I'm constantly putting stuff down and forgetting where I put it. Oh, it's right on the board. Yeah. Oh, I've done the wrong one. SW was the one I wanted to do. And I've done another one. But that doesn't matter. As long as I do the right one, we should be good. So, SW. Done one here as well. Never mind. So SW is this one. This one here. And then you've got a ground down here. And then you've got these two and this one. So it is this second one here. So let's not mess it up this time. Let's put it in the right one. But honestly, I think we should probably add a bit more solder here. Sorry, add a bit more for it to get onto. So probably worth just having a little scrape of this via. That's looking pretty good. I like that. Nice. Plenty more of it to get onto there. And then we've got, what else have we got? We've got these two here. We've got L in and R in, which makes sense. There's L in, and let's get R in done. And R in. Sweet. Let's give it a quick clean up. Love the black burnt flux look. You gotta love that. So we got plenty of space on this here. We got this over here, and then we got this fella down here, and it's also going to connect on this ground here. So let's pop it where it needs to be, and I think we should give it on one of the flexible ones first, where we've got a little bit of breathing space. So I'm thinking, let's do SW first, and let's try and be smart with it. So same old story with these, or with any soldering really. You just gotta go at it. I've got to take a lot of solder off my iron. Where is my iron cleaning device? Where are you? Not sure where I put it. I might. There we go. That'll do. Let's clean this off. And I think what we need to do is, this is not looking so great, is it? It's not looking so greatly. So we're going to come in here with a load of flux. I'm going to turn my temps down quite a bit actually. let's go sort of 300. Cool. And yeah, let's just get some onto this. There we go. Oh, okay, so that puts that where it needs to be, which is roughly in line with these. So we're just gonna, there we go, put it directly in line with those. Cool. Now all of this, these two vias are connected to this same plane. So by scratching away, we've given a ton of space for it. So let's pop some solder down on this. Again, always feels too hot with these flexes, but you just gotta go gentle and get this to there, to this. Nope, hold on a second. Oh, what have we got here? Okay, definitely need to get, there we go. That's a lot better. Cool, nice. And then let's get these two soldered up. We could probably even go a little bit less on the temps, but we're good. Nice. And now on the ground. And that's the ground soldered up nicely. It's not moving anywhere. And then we're going to come down and we're just going to do it down here. Now, you don't need to keep this little bit on the bottom. You can take it off. You don't need the branding if you don't want it. But we don't mind. It's not getting in the way on this build. But on others it might be. Let's just push this down to the board ever so slightly. And we know it's not quite ready yet, so come in with a bit of flux. Get this kept down on the board, and there we have it. Cool. So yeah, this comes down here, attaches to here, and that should give us an amp. So we're just going to go and clean up all of our work. And come in up here, clean all this up. Clean these joints all up. Looking good. Down here, this joint, nice and shiny. And just the flux around this joint as well. And there we have it. We are hot to trot. Okay, so now we're just gonna, whoa, we're gonna turn this off because it gives at least this a fighting chance, I think. So there we go. So yeah, we turned the light right down here, and we're gonna try and bring this camera in, maybe just a little down. There we go. That might work in our favor, I'm not sure. So this is now our modded board. This is obviously our amp. Goes between the buttons. And around the back here we've got, I'm sure this light isn't doing us any favors here. But no light is just as bad, isn't it? We'll need some studio lights or something if I'm going to carry on making videos. Anyway, so we've got our power mods. to support the DC power because we're putting that larger Q5 in. And we've got, yep, power board, new speaker, amp, and that's it for now. Let's see if it makes a louder noise, because that's really all you need. So we're going to pop this in, and we did have Tetris, and in we go, and let's turn it on. I mean, is it a lot louder? Yeah, it's louder. It's not a huge amount louder though. It's just nice. We will look at that later and finish that off. But yeah, that's basically the guts of the install for that. I believe, let me just double check, there's no other stuff I've got to run here. I don't think so. Just make sure that this is making full continuity. Yeah, it is. And that runs down to this, what it looks like here. But yeah, that looks pretty good, if I'm honest. It should give us good speaker, but we only get good speaker. Sorry, I did a bit of a boo-boo, didn't I? Because good speaker is provided by, you can't cut that little tab off unless you join the two traces to the doodah here. So, okay, my apologies. So let's do the next bit. I knew I was missing something there. So let's pull the old speaker out. Again, it's already got orange cables, so we're happy with that. That sits down much nicer. And then on the other side, which I'm not fully happy soldering on there, so I'm going to do it on a box. But that's okay. Are these two new tabs? And that's where we're going to put the speaker to. Now, you probably can't see this, but I'm going to do it real quick. And then we should have a working speaker that's actually connected to an amp. Perfect. Okay. So now let's have a good test. Let's plug Tetris back in. Oh, I keep forgetting I'm doing this off camera. See, I'm so used to just sitting there doing it. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's quite a bit louder. Yeah, it's a lot louder. Okay, cool. That's what we were looking for. So that's good, I guess. And then probably the next thing to get going with is the LCD mod. So the LCD mod goes a little bit like this. This goes in here, as you would expect. And remember, it goes in this way, like so. You squash it in, wash that in like that, wash that in like that, and then what did it? See, the old Q5 board used to have a different board, which is quite interesting. Is this a two-sided doodah? No, it's not. I find that quite interesting. So let's just have a little look. That what we got here? Okie dokie. Yep. Nice, nice. Yeah, nice. So I'm just looking, just double checking the what their recommended instructions for this screen are. Okay. Wow, they run Select AB from quite far away. Okay. So yeah, they do have. Okay, let's start building it up because we're going to have to put it together anyway. So let's move some of this out of the way and let's bring in our shell. This is the shell we're using. These are stuff that we're probably mostly going to be throwing away because generally they're junk. This shell looks nice quality though. It's always good. And we will need to just nab these because you can't buy new ones of these. Well, you probably can, but not for this build. And then we're going to pop this in here. Oh, in 42 minutes. Right, so I think what we're going to do is we're just going to peel this film off before installing. Excellent. What? So interestingly, this is a Q5 without color control at the bottom, which is the latest one. That's interesting. So I've personally not seen one before, but yeah, that sits in there like that. Okay. I think I'm going to have to reach out to my guy and see whether he wants this or he wants the one where he can change the color of the bottom of the screen, because this might be a deal breaker. So I think that's probably where we're going to leave it, because the normal Q5, let me go and get mine. I'll show you. Okie dokie. So yeah, this is my Q5, and you can see that screen's the same. It's got the larger screen and everything like that, but what it doesn't have is the backlight here. Mine's got a screen that lights up and you can change all the colors, and his doesn't have that. There is no LED control on this particular model. As I say, might be a deal breaker. I will I'll call this part one, I guess, and we'll come back.